What is the significance of the book's title, the titles of its two sections, and the epigraph that precedes the book itself and the second letter? Basically, the significance of the title was based off the quote, "God gave Noah the rainbow sign, no more water the fire next time," which shows how God gave humans one last chance to change their ways, and He wanted to get rid of wicked people if they don't. And it basically has two symbols: water being a start over of a new society, and fire, which is a promise to destroy the world if humans don't change, because fire spreads faster than water, which shows that hate spreads faster than love. The significance of the title of the two sections: one title, My Dungeon Shook, was the realization that the world isn't perfect and that it is flawed, and that Baldwin must push forth and achieve equality through his actions. The second title, Down at the Cross, was to symbolize Jesus at the cross, how he sacrificed himself for the love of the people, and a self-realization that love is the key to success, not hatred or violence. The epigraphs that precede the book was a letter to his nephews, and it shows that times have changed and that you must learn your history to succeed in life, and he's basically telling his nephew not to give up hope for the future. The second letter was to show his life story after that, and it was a collection of deep thought by Baldwin. Matt, do you care to comment?
I'd like to elaborate on the part where when I was talking about how it symbolized how water and fire were symbolic. Water was the first warning, when God warned Noah, because and water symbolizes a new start and a new beginning. So He flushed out all society and kind of rid of the wicked and the bad influences on earth. And the fire sign symbolizes destruction. And it shows that God, after people didn't learn after Jesus died on the cross, and the flood with Noah, that they didn't learn, and he became way more serious in the matter, and he showed that destruction will come if people don't change their ways. Toma, would you like to go?
I'd like to agree with both of you. Because the significance title is definitely that people get too many chances, and this is kind of like our last chance, considering that the last time that people got out of hand, God sent water and kind of just gave people like a new start. But now that He's telling that next time it's gonna be fire, like there's no third chances after that. He's giving you one and then two, and then on the third time it's just done. And I think people don't realize sometimes just how the little things they do can impact the world on a big whole. Like just being nice to people around you can make a big difference, and people need to really step it in their hands and make a change, because this is something that really could happen.
My question was number 4. What are the reasons for and circumstances of the 17-year-old Baldwin's renunciation of his religious calling and of Christianity itself? I'd like to start off with that he kind of rid of his religious calling due to the hypocrisy that he found within the church. He noticed that God's money wasn't really going to God's people. It was going towards the minister's personal life, going towards their cars, the finer things in life that they thought would like overcome God and all that. And he also renunciated from the church because he got in for all the wrong reasons. He didn't get in due to his religious calling. He got in more to shelter him from the New York, Bronx, the bad part of town, and the prostitution and the drugs. And he found his gimmick with the church, and he really didn't get into it because of a calling. He just really got into it just to feel more safe and feel that he had more meaning to life. I'd
have to agree with Matt, but I'd like to elaborate the part of why he left the church. He basically viewed it as a business because and he also viewed the abuses that the church had, such as ministers would take the money that was used for God and then buy Cadillacs and stuff. And it also was basically teaching that you should only love your other followers rather than love everyone. And this is a point that Baldwin strongly disagreed, because he wanted equality of all races. Tom?
I'd like to add to the part when Matt was talking about getting into church for all the wrong reasons. because Baldwin does state in the book that he saw his friends begin to drink and begin to do drugs and embark on their sexual careers. Well, Baldwin didn't want to be just like everyone else in his community. He wanted to be something bigger, be something better, and he thought that a good way to shelter him from all these bad influences on the street was through the church. And for the time being, as a child and as a young teen, that really helped him. But when he felt like he didn't need the need for that anymore, he left. The question I had was, what is Baldwin's attitude toward the Nation of Islam and Elijah Muhammad? How does that attitude relate to his previously expressed observations on race relations and racial discrimination? Well, first of all, I think Baldwin's attitude towards the Nation of Islam and Elijah Muhammad is somewhat negative, because he feels that love should be the way to get people to do what you want them to, not hate and fear. Even though fear tactics are a very successful way, that's not the right thing to do, because eventually people find out and it just causes bigger problems in the long run. He kind of did agree with Elijah Muhammad on some parts, like how you should get people off the streets and give them something to believe in, but the way he did it wasn't what Baldwin believed in. And this attitude relates to his previously expressed observations, because he grew up and he saw racism even through his father and through the church, and how the white man treated the black man. And this was pretty much what Elijah Muhammad was doing to the white man, because he thought he was the devil. So it was kind of just the same thing, only from the eyes of someone else. And that's kind of just relating to the experiences he had in his life, and then he actually saw it turn around when he was older, so he didn't agree with that. Matt, would you like to comment?
I would agree with the fact that Islam wants power instead of love, and Baldwin really does not like that. He believes that love is essential in finding peace and happiness. And Islam also viewed whites as devils, whereas Baldwin thought white people were just afraid, and that we need to embrace their feardom and kind of strengthen them in their search in our search to become equal and equal country. And Baldwin wanted equality with Islam, whereas Islam wanted superiority. He felt that if the Islam nation wanted superiority, it means that they were going to discriminate on the white people, whereas it would just be back at the start of how things were in the beginning, where whites were discriminating on blacks. But Baldwin agreed with Elijah Muhammad for one reason, because he did a better job than the church because he took in drunks and druggies and jailmates and gave them a purpose in life and a sense of direction.
I'd have to agree with both of the people, and I felt that he had a strong attitude towards racial discrimination, because it basically showed how it was the white people that did the same thing to them, whereas white people using violence towards African Americans to establish superiority. Baldwin strongly denounces this, whereas Muhammad believes in using violence and hatred to prove black superiority. And Baldwin believes that you should establish equality through equal actions and deeds, not just preaching violence. And you should basically just love everyone equally.